Logic Cam, and this obviously is a much better camera, and you'll get a little different angle on that. So anyhow, if we can bear patience with me a little bit, I'm going to try to show you a couple of things on these filters that I was talking about in an earlier video. Right there where I'm highlighting is a filter, and as it comes up on the screen here, you can see where hold on one second, I got to do let's try something else here. Yeah, that's where it was at. You can see the filter. See if I can get it to where you can see it. There's a plus, minus, and an up and down arrow on this. If you go to these filters, like I said on the last video, compressor, expander, gate, gain, invert, polarity, limiter, noise gate, noise suppression, and I also have some VTS plugins that I got off of FabFilter, and you can see those in there. They're a little better. I've got to figure out some things on that, but anyhow, if you double click, say they were actually saying on the video that I was watching that if you do a limiter, and you can see how it comes up in here, you know, there's a chain, a order in the chain, and it's good to go by that order. Some of those guys are just super smart with this stuff, and they help us all figure it out. But the limiter, obviously, you can break that down to where it's keeping it from clipping in the channel. Right now, it's check, check. As you can see, it's kind of bumping right here, just below check. 20 right up in there, some check, check. And as you bring this threshold down, check, check, it limits a lot more. So you got to watch this limiter because it will reduce your volume to the point to where check, check. If you start talking real low, that it will be way down and your audience will not be able to hear it. Obviously, the release time is check, check. It's releasing it quicker over the threshold. Now, what I did last night, and I think it introduced some noise, was I added a gain before the limiter, which I still think may be a better idea because the limit is going to bring that down some. So if you get to the point that you are right there where we're hitting right now, and you can bring that gain up, obviously you see check, but that limiter check then needs to come down to check. I'm at minus 9.80 on the limiter right now. So check is hitting just below the clip where you can see, if you can see, originally there was a little mark right here where before the threshold or the limiter was kicking in, it was actually causing it to clip. So you got to be careful of that. And how we're running this right now is actually through the Midas mixer, and we're running this directly into OBS. It recognizes the Midas mixer, and it's really nice because you can add obviously effects and different things. Like, for instance, I'll show you. Check. This is reverb that I added into the mix, and obviously too much, way too much, maybe even the wrong type of reverb. Break it down some. Check. Check. Obviously, you won't mount that into a speaking mic, but it's great when you can add a little bit of semblance and distance and some vocals when you're singing. So back to what I was saying on the as far as adding these filters in. I just really kind of found this out this week, so maybe a lot of y'all already know this, but some of you that don't, like I was, it's good to know because you can add these things in your live stream, in your church live stream, or whatever. Obviously, you want to make sure that the chain of gain, if that makes sense, is correct to begin with, because if you're sending a hot output signal from the console into the computer, people don't realize that there's so many different things you have to look at. On the mixer when it's coming out hot, if you've got a hot gain on it, you're going to clip OBS forever and try to figure it out. Nothing you can do into OBS that I know of that can fix that. You need to start from the correct gain staging from the console. So just like with running live stream in a house, you need to just start working on your gain from the console. And if you're like me, you work with a praise team. I can't hear myself. I need more. Da 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 da. You try, and we're working with the X32. So the P16. The only way to get a good gain out of it is to go through the routing and to do the pick points from where you're picking the P16 from, but that all is relying on that gain structure to be correct also. One thing I did do for my praise and worship leader, and she was so close to the sub cabinet to what I think was happening, is she has a very nice set of in-ear buds. I mean, she's got like a $900 set of in-ear monitors. So I knew it wasn't the monitor's problem, but never realized what it could have been until I moved her. I relocated her about 6 feet away from where she was at. She was actually in between the sub cabinet. The sub cabinet was kind of behind her. She also has a floor monitor. I know, floor monitor and in-ear monitor. Give me a break. I told her I really want her to get her ears checked. But anyhow, love her to death. Amazing singer and piano player. So a little shout out to her. I'm not going to mention her name because she might get mad at me. Anyhow, so when I moved her over, what I think was happening was we've got a QSC KW sub on the floor, and those things are amazing. Shout out to all of the QSC people, Clark Technic, Midas. It's just kind of my groove right now. I've got some EV products, and I'm real pleased with those also. But man, I'm going to tell you that QSC just builds a tank in their sub cabinets. I haven't got to listen to some of the new one, the big, the high output one, but if it's any more than the one we've got, it would be way too much for our sanctuary. Hopefully we'll be building in a building program here soon. We got the property. But anyhow, what was happening was that sub cabinet, I believe, was sucking the life out of her in-ears, because you can shove whatever you want to in your ears. If you got a 2,000 watt sub pushing 2 foot behind you, I think it's going to pull it out of your ear. So I moved her over 6 feet, and she said, man, I can hear so much better. So only thing I can think of is in between them two speakers, I think it was just sucking the life out of her earbuds. So something to consider if you've got a weird stage configuration for your church. Think about placing people that may have a little trouble hearing that's leading. And obviously we know that leading is very important. All instrumentation and singing, you got to hear yourself or you're going to be off. So make sure the monitors are in a good place. Make sure the subs are out of the way enough that it would not suck the life out of their in-ears if they have in-ears. If they don't have in-ears and they got the subs behind them, man, I know they're struggling, because, you're hearing that low frequency, whatever you've got it set on. So just one thing to think about there, but that doesn't really have anything to do with what I'm talking about here today, but it's just something that I like to throw out, because I know that this is things that that I'm kind of tripping across as I'm going along with this too. I've been doing sound for 15 or 20 years, and I don't claim to be a professional because, I mean, that wasn't my career. It was kind of like I was a fill-in or the person that done it all the time, every Sunday. But you can't really learn a lot one Sunday a month, or one Sunday a week, or whatever you do if you're on a rotation schedule. So you kind of have to learn this stuff on your own, and I'm kind of gotten to the place now that I can do that. So hopefully this is the direction the Lord wants me to go. um, so again, on those filters, I think they're really cool to have them in place. But I was just going to listen to what some of this sounds like, because through my Midas mixer, coming into there, it is really, I mean, I have no floor noise. I have no floor noise whatsoever that I've heard on anything that I've done. Now I'll probably finish this video and come back running, and it'll sound like a crackling fiend. But anyhow, everything that I've noticed has been just really quiet. Got to get my church live stream. Obviously, the more things that you have in the link of feeding your audio into your live is going to cause problems. And if anybody's got an idea, I'm not a PC person, I'm a Mac person. So what we've got going on right now, they bought a gaming computer. I'm coming out of my X32 console at the church into a M1 Mac. And I know that you really don't need to run everything out of one, even though I've heard people say that you can run everything out of one. I have run everything out of one computer, running the cameras and the audio, and did it pretty successfully. But what we have now is the gaming computer running the video part of it and the OBS. So I'm coming out of the mixer into the M1 Mac and out of the headphone jack, which I'm not too keen on because you introduce noise that way too, into a Focusrite 2i2, and out of the Focusrite USB into the USB on the gaming computer, which everybody's probably like, what in the heck is he doing? That's the way that I kind of knew to do it, because apparently the gaming computer is not allowing me to get the plug-in that I need to come out of Ableton, which I'm running Ableton out of the M1 Mac. I love Ableton. It's just easy for me. I'm not a professional at it, but it works for me. Anyhow, Ableton is kind of my go-to on that, and I'm not a PC guy, so to try to figure out why the Ableton is not working, and I'm just gonna bring this in real quick because I want you guys to see what this is in my chain right now. But I want to eventually get everything running through there, or try to figure out how to eliminate the Focusrite, just to get it out of that that chain. I think the more things you introduce, the more things you can have problems with. And obviously, when you're running out of the console into the computer via USB, you've either got a bad USB cable or something. But it just eliminates having another thing in there that you got to figure out. Well, is it this problem or the other problem? I had a PreSonus audio box that I initially set up on that. It was horrible. Don't know what's going on with PreSonus, but I'm very disappointed in those folks, because I used to be somebody that said, yeah, PreSonus, they're a good hybrid board when they came out with the 1602. And now I've found out, I got my same friend that is leading worship at this church. She bought one 5 years ago, and I think it's about 2016. So a little longer than 5 or 6 years ago. But anyhow, uh, had some issues going on with it. I got the board and tried to return it back to factory default. Board's still kind of flickering and doing all kind of stuff. And I called Sweetwater. Not Sweetwater's problem. They can't do no more than the manufacturer says that they can do. So I'm gonna put fault where fault is. PreSonus, shame on y'all because that console that girl paid $1,000 for, and it's useless. Um, they can't repair it. I can't even get a response back from PreSonus on that. And then I used that audio box the other night, and it clipped like all get out. It was our Wednesday night service. It ruined the audio on that, so that's why I swapped over to the Focusrite. So be careful if you're going the direction of a audio interface in between anything. Make sure you got a good audio interface that has good preamps, and like I said, gain staging, gain staging, gain staging. Can't say enough about that because it is a very important part of getting a good signal chain coming through. So I know I've been talking a lot. I hope I can talk about this stuff forever. If you've got any comments or anything, you can leave on the bottom down here. Anything to help me out, or tell me to shut up, or whatever you want to tell me to do. But maybe I'm wrong on some of this stuff. I don't think so because I've read a lot, watched a lot of videos and different things. So, but I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm not a professional at this. I had another career for 38 years, and now that's out and changed, and God's leading in a different direction. So we will see how it goes. But anything that I can do to help, I kind of will be watching some of my posts, and you guys give me a thumbs up if I'm helping you out. If you don't, you know, sorry if I'm not helping you, but just trying to walk through some of this stuff a little bit at a time and myself, and maybe helping someone else also. Thanks so much. God bless. We see you guys soon.